Om Shri Sai Ram. On this auspicious day of Sankranti, the students of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashanti Nilayam, deem it their greatest blessing to present before their beloved Swami a drama entitled Shri Krishna Raya Baram. Dear Swami, we present this as a humble offering at your lotus feet. This drama is being presented by the postgraduate students of the institute.
Satya Sai Rupena Krishnaya Namaha. The world recognizes me as Veda Vyasa, the author of the greatest epic of all times. The Mahabharata that the Lord blessed me to compose is not just an ordinary story. The conflict between the forces of the good and the dark forces of evil is timeless and eternal. A daily battle going on within every being. The Manas is the powerful king who can lead the individual either to peace or to utter ruin. Unfortunately, the mind gets blinded by mamakara, ahamkara, kama, krodha and lobha, and in relentless pursuit of their demands becomes deaf to the unrelenting advice of buddhi and viveka. It begins with the seed of attachment.
But Indraprastha is under Suyodhana's control. I have no say in this matter.
And grows up nourished by pride and ego.
The Pandavas will be scattered like a herd of frightened deer when I shall romp like a bloodthirsty tiger amongst them.
Viveka or discrimination, the mind's eternal companion, always guides it along the enlightened path of righteousness.
Maharaj, you may not listen to me, but I am bound to you, my lord, and I will speak only the truth, however harsh it may seem to your ears.
Listen to his voice in solemnity and reverence, and pay heed to his advice.
Let not wild ambition ascend the throne that legitimately belongs to wisdom.
Vinasha kale viparita buddhi. Manas pays no heed to the wise counsel and chooses preyas over shreyas. It hurtles towards disaster, fed by hatred and caressed by greed.
Subdue this cowherd, and then it is child's play to slay the herd of Pandavas that flock about him.
Tell them, even a speck of land that is needed to place the tip of a needle shall not be given to them.
When the mind is lost in these dark alleys, the compassion of the Lord shines forth as the voice of the peace-loving conscience. The onus lies on the mind to seek this light and redeem itself forever.
The Mahabharata is not just an ordinary story. It is your story, my story, everyone's story, and most importantly, his story.
We begin the story at that point when the Pandavas have completed their harsh exile and have sent a head priest as their emissary to Hastinapura, seeking their kingdom back. The emissary has been disgraced by the Kauravas, and in turn, the spineless Dhritarashtra has sent Sanjaya to tell the Pandavas to be happy where they are, making war the only option for both the sides. At the behest of the cunning Shakuni, Duryodhana has arrived at Dwaraka to seek help from Krishna for the war.
Partha, when did you come? You could have called me. O Rishikesha, having had your darshan, my raging mind was benumbed into humble stillness, and sitting in your solemn presence, I forgot all my worries. But Kaunteya, you must have been waiting for so long. Are Baba?
ఏమి మహానుభావా బావా ఎప్పుడు వచ్చితీవు సుకులే భ్రాతల్ సుతుల్ చుట్టముల్ నీ వాల్లభ్యము పట్టు కర్ణుడును మన్నీలున్ సుఖోపేతులే వంశోన్నతి గోరు భీష్ముడును మీ మేల్గోరు ద్రోణాది భూదేవు క్షేమముమై మేసంగుదురే మీ తేజంబు హెచ్చించుచు బావా ఎప్పుడు వచ్చితీవు
కౌరవ పాండవుల్ పెనవు కాలము సేరువయ్యే మాకు అవ్వారికి కూడా ఎక్కుడగు బంధు సముద్రుడ వీవుగానా నీ చేరిక మాకు ఇర్వురకు సేమము గూర్చెడిదౌట సాయముం గోరగా ఏగుదంచితిని గోపకులైక శిరో విభూషణ కౌరవ పాండవుల్ పెనవు కాలము సేరువ అయ్యే.
Krishna, now the war is imminent. I stand here to seek your help. You are dear to us as you are to the Pandavas.
But what about Arjuna? He too must have come to seek my help.
Vasudeva, it was me who arrived first. You should consider helping us before you help Arjuna.
But Suyodhana, it was Arjuna whom I noticed first. Anyway, both of you ask all that you want, and I promise not to disappoint anyone.
Disappointment. Disappointment is inevitable, Vasudeva. In war, you cannot fight on both sides.
Suyodhana, I spoke not of war, but only of help. On one side, you have the invincible Narayani Sena, in whose march the thunders roll, to whose shouts even gods shudder. I shall stand on the other side, alone and unarmed.
Unarmed?
Both of you are equally dear to me. Against whom shall I raise my weapons? Choose then, O Falguna, either the mightiest of men or this solitary one?
Vasudeva, I should get the choice first.
Bhava Suyodhana, Arjuna is much younger to you in age. Will not the Pandavas later blot your immaculate character with accusations of injustice? Let Arjuna make the first choice.
Kapata Nataka Sutradhari.
Vasudeva, of what avail is that army in reckon with the Lord of the worlds? I have not come to seek the help of Narayani Sena.
I have come to seek Narayana himself. I want thee alone, my lord.
O Krishna, above all enmities, Arjuna is my brother. I shall abide by his decision. He has left me with no choice. I shall satisfy myself with your army. And now, if you permit, I shall move on. You may rest peacefully. Arjuna, tell me, why is it that you chose this unarmed soul, leaving aside the fiercest army in the world? Madhava, you are the master of all men and matter. No knowledge, no secret, no passage lies unknown to you. Your single glance can vanquish mighty multitudes in a trice. In your hands lie the reins of my life itself, O Sanatana Sarati. You guide me amidst death, destruction and ruin to peace and victory during this war.
The Pandavas have chosen God's grace over man's might, master over men. Now their victory is certain. Even as there seems no other alternative but the war path, all the Pandavas, along with King Drupada and Lord Krishna, have assembled at Upaplavya in King Virata's kingdom to deliberate on the future course of action.
O warriors of matchless valor, all Shastras and scriptures make it the obligation of every king to guide all mankind along the right path. Heed to the wise, teach the ignorant, guide the innocent and punish the wicked. Ensure dharma is upheld. If anyone resists its reign, hesitate not to draw his obedience through death.
It is in this injunction that the war with the Kauravas becomes our only resort to uphold dharma.
But O King of Panchala, the solution for a headache is not chopping the head. My heart shudders to heap horrors of death and pain upon humanity. I implore thee not to drown hearts in the wretchedness of a selfish revenge.
What selfishness is it to scathe those awful beasts that have slain dharma on the altars of greed and jealousy? Was it not their wretchedness that watched in shameless silence when my daughter was dishonored in the royal court? In the burning flames of their funeral pyres, I shall pour my agony and unburden my heart.
Then dress not your revenge in the guise of dharma. Mingle not your ire in the obligations of a king. Let not your emotions cloud your wisdom. O wise men, all doors to peace are not yet shut.
Madhusudana, it is not that we have not tried peace before. The head priest was sent as our messenger to convey that the terms of the exile had been served. But he was mocked and sent back.
Sanjaya too came from Hastinapura, and alas, the message of the king was, be wherever you are, and be at peace.
Patience is of no avail. No matter how hard you try, Duryodhana would not yield. O Dhananjaya, it is not just about Duryodhana. Forget not noble men like Bhishma and Drona. They should certainly be given a chance.
Speak not of their nobility, O Krishna, that dissolves in shameless silence in the royal court.
O king of Virata, let not meanness of revenge and blindness of anger smite your souls. O men of noble birth, place your discrimination on the pedestal of brotherhood. Let us talk only of peace and not of war.
Krishna, we are no meek force to beg for peace time and again. Lances of Dharmaja have broken the bosoms of countless demons. The mace of Bhima, mightier than the Vajrayuda, shall deport thousands to the portals of death in a single sweep. The Gandhiva of Arjuna is a third eye of Mahadeva, spitting fire. The swords of Sahadeva and Nakula shall spell doom with every slice.
But history will not talk of your might, Vayunandana. It weighs you by your values. Your valor is but a curse on humanity, if it cannot usher peace to your fellow. Go fan the storms of hatred and ravage the world, and let history mock. Oh, how supremely foolish art thou, men! Thou sold your souls to the wily anger's lust.
O Krishna, what about my daughter's untied hair?
Is a droplet of blood on your daughter's hair far worthier than tears of countless mothers, O king? Transcend your petty selves and weigh them on the scales of greater good. Where hath all your compassion gone, O Nakula? Let not the words spoken in mindless rage be foolish bindings on your actions. What is your opinion, O Dharmaja?
O Krishna, we know not what to do. Smitten by failure and haunted by misery, confused we stand. Lead us, O Lord, for you alone know what is right. We surrender to thee.
So we unanimously decide to be patient and make one last attempt for peace. Let me visit the royal court of Hastinapur. I shall be your messenger of peace.
Cannot the Lord see that the epic war is inevitable? Doesn't he know that Duryodhana and the blind Dhritarashtra are in no mood to give Indraprastha back to the Pandavas? He is the all-knowing one. Yet, to present before mankind an example, he is staging this drama. Moreover, he is an extremely shrewd statesman. He wishes to inject a few doses of instability and insecurity in the minds of the Kauravas. Krishna has set forth on the historic mission to Hastinapura.
O ambassador of peace, Vasudeva, pranams to you. Hastinapura welcomes you.
Pranams, Maharaj. Pranams, Suyodhana.
Pranams. Pranams, Vasudeva.
Pranams, Gandhar Naresh.
O Madhusudana, please accept this gift as a humble offering.
O Maharaj, I am honored to receive such a gift. But in return, I am afraid I have got nothing but peace to offer.
Oh Keshava, you must be exhausted from the arduous journey. We can talk leisurely later. Please take rest now.
Krishna, I cordially invite you to my palace to dine with me. Thereafter, you might take rest in Dushasana's place.
Thank you for your request, brother Suyodhana. But I will reside at Mahatma Vidur's home. Moreover, Aunt Kunti is also waiting for me there.
Vasudeva, your refusal will hurt me forever.
Forever? Forever is a very broad term. First, let us come to a truce. Unless we reconcile, how can I accept your hospitality?
Keshava, I do not understand your perspective. How does agreeing to be a guest have anything to do with the outcome of the talks?
Yes, Madhava. We have no enmity with you. How can you, a perfect gentleman, insult your host? O Angaraja, I cannot forsake dharma at any cost. Moreover, one accepts an invitation only when one is either hungry or when one is a friend. Neither am I hungry, nor am I dear to brother Suyodhana.
But Krishna, how can you say that you are not dear to us?
If I was dear to you, then Duryodhana would have fought with Arjuna for me and not my monumental army.
But that does not prove anything, Madhusudana. Arjuna had already asked for you, and you had given yourself to Arjuna. How then could Suyodhana ask for you?
If I had already given myself to Arjuna, O king of Gandhar, how then can I partake the salt of his enemy? He who is not a friend of the Pandavas is not my friend either. Also don't forget, Dharma is on the Pandavas side. And where there is Dharma, there I am. I am not only an ambassador of peace, but also an ambassador of Dharma. If I break bread with Suyodhana, I would have trespassed Dharma.
It is time for food, Vasudeva. My offer is still open. I humbly request you.
O Suyodhana, if you really wanted to dine with me, by now you would have accepted my peace proposal. Meal, that I will have at Mahatma Vidur's place only. Mahatma, shall we?
Ha! What does that cowherd think of himself? He would have been honored to dine with me. It is only fit that a cowherd dines with a Dasi Putra. Mama Shri, tomorrow in the court, if he tries to act smart, I shall make him my prisoner.
The Lord's ways are subtle and profound. By choosing Vidura's abode as his residence, he has not only conveyed that he can be befriended by a pure heart alone, he has also blessed the lifelong penance of Vidura, the penance of upholding dharma at any cost, even if that means mockery and disgrace. This is the moment Vidura has been waiting for all his life.
O compassionate one, what have you done? Instead of the comforts of the royal palace, you chose this poor man's abode as your residence.
It is not the poverty of the abode, but the richness of the heart that attracts me. Know me as Bhavapriya and not Bahyapriya. Oh Mahatma, we are bound heart to heart and love to love.
सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई। दुर्योधन का मेवा त्याग्यो, दुर्योधन का मेवा त्याग्यो, साग विदुर घर खायो। सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई।
We did not have an inkling of your arrival, O Keshava. Forgive us. The food is not a banquet worthy of you.
हरि तो बस प्रेम के भूखे, हरि तो बस प्रेम के भूखे, प्रेम का साग खिलायो। सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई।
O Prema Swarupa, who can ever fathom your love? Lost in the ecstasy of your presence, I foolishly offered the peels, throwing away the fruit.
नारायण वैकुंठ को त्याग्यो, नारायण वैकुंठ को त्याग्यो, नर को प्रेम पढ़ायो। सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई।
Oh Vidura, your bliss alone is my food. Any call from the depths of the heart, rest assured that I will respond.
प्रेम के बस एक पग तुम ले जो, प्रेम के बस एक पग तुम ले जो, तो पग दौड़ के आयो। सबसो ऊंची प्रेम सगाई, सबसो।
There are at least, and maybe the only two people who realize the significance of Krishna himself coming as a peace messenger. Dhritarashtra's intense and blind attachment for his son has brought the Kuru race to the verge of destruction. The king is blind, but at least he can hear. However, a man who has long stopped listening to the dictates of his conscience requires a stern prodding, and that needs to be done by Viveka and Buddhi, symbolized by Bhishma and Vidura.
Enough is enough. I have decided to retire and return to my kingdom. My presence here serves no purpose.
Mama Shri, what has happened? Who has dared to insult you?
Who else but you, Suyodhana? When you had a lion to choose, you chose a flock of sheep?
Krishna, what does that cowherd know about warfare, Mama Shri?
You fool! What is a bale of cotton when compared to a lighted wick? Even unarmed, this Mayavi Krishna is skillful enough to wreak havoc amongst his enemies. Subdue this cowherd, and then it is child's play to slay the herd of Pandavas that flock about him.
Hastinapur Samrat Maharaj Dhritarashtra, गंगा पुत्र भीष्म, महामंत्री विदुर और आचार्य द्रोण पधार रहे हैं।
O king,